two brutal killers met inside a prison, and instead of regret, they found love. But this isn't a Tia love story. It is a story about how the justice system itself was manipulated. A glamorous model who secretly trapped and murdered her victims. And a man who wiped out an entire family. Somehow got permission to marry, and even live together outside jail. No escape plan, no fear, just confidence that they could bend the system to their will. The real question is, when monsters start winning from inside prison, is anyone truly safe? Welcome to Truthful. If you're liking what you see, let me know in the comments. And now, let's dive into the story. In 2018, in the city of Jaipur, a woman named Priya Seth was living a life that looked perfect on the outside, but was dangerously deceptive underneath. By day, she moved through high-end fashion circles as a confident and glamorous model, someone people admired and trusted without question. But behind closed doors, she was running a calculated honey trap operation, carefully targeting wealthy and emotionally vulnerable men through dating apps. She knew exactly how to talk, how to build trust, and how to make someone feel special within hours. One of her targets was 22-year-old Moin, a young man who genuinely believed he had gotten lucky after matching with someone far out of his league. Excited and desperate to impress her, he spent everything he could, renting a luxury car, dressing beyond his means, and stepping into a world he wasn't prepared for. But the moment he entered Priya's apartment, everything changed. The charm disappeared. The door shut, and within seconds, he was ambushed by a man hiding inside. Moin was overpowered, tied up, and turned into a bargaining chip as his family received a terrifying ransom call. His father, panicked and helpless, tried to gather the demanded money, managing only a portion of it, hoping it would be enough to save his son. But for Priya, this was never just about money. It was about control. And more importantly, leaving no witnesses behind. What followed was a cold and calculated murder, carried out without hesitation. His life was taken, and his body was disposed of in a way meant to erase his identity completely. A young man's hope turned into a nightmare, leaving behind a devastated family and a crime that shocked everyone who heard about it. But the story doesn't end here. In fact, this is where it truly begins. The real turning point comes when Moin's father refuses to accept silence or uncertainty, and pushes authorities to launch a full-scale investigation into his son's disappearance. Priya's downfall started with a simple mistake. She underestimated digital evidence. When Moin was reported missing, police began tracing his last movements, and everything pointed toward one final location: Priya's apartment. Investigators pulled call records, chat histories, and CCTV footage from nearby streets, which showed Moin entering the building, but never coming out. That was enough to raise serious suspicion. As pressure built, the police tracked financial transactions linked to the ransom demand, which further exposed the connection. Within days, Priya and her accomplice were taken into custody. During interrogation, their stories began to fall apart, and eventually, the truth surfaced. What initially looked like a missing person case quickly turned into a brutal murder investigation, revealing the full extent of Priya's honey trap operation and sealing her fate behind bars. But as disturbing as that was, the story didn't end there. It actually became even darker. Inside Sanganer Open Jail, Priya crossed paths with Hanuman Prasad, a man whose crimes were on an entirely different level of horror. He had been convicted of brutally murdering an entire family, including young children, in a single night, an act that had already labeled him as one of the most dangerous criminals in the region. Yet somehow, instead of fear, the two developed a connection. It wasn't normal, and it certainly wasn't innocent. With the help of a corrupt prison officer, they began communicating in secret, exchanging messages, and slowly building a bond. That felt less like love, and more like a dangerous understanding between two people who saw the world the same way. Over time, that connection grew stronger, and in a move that stunned everyone, they managed to manipulate the legal system into approving their marriage. Yes, two convicted killers were legally allowed to get married. The shock didn't stop there. They were granted parole to spend time together outside prison, living under one roof like an ordinary couple, while the families of their victims were still dealing with unimaginable loss. For those days, it was almost as if justice had paused. Allowing two criminals to experience a version of normal life they had taken away from others. And the most chilling part? When their parole ended, they didn't try to escape or disappear. They returned to prison calmly, fully aware that their new legal status gave them advantages, future meetings, more parole opportunities, and a system they now understood how to bend. This story leaves behind a disturbing question. When people capable of such crimes can still find ways to win within the system, is justice really as strong as we believe it is? If this story left you shocked, disturbed, or questioning how justice really works, then you're not alone. Cases like this remind us that sometimes the most dangerous people aren't just out in the world. They are the ones who learn how to manipulate the system from within. If you want more real, dark, and mind-blowing stories like this, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the Truthful channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss what's coming next. And tell me in the comments, what kind of stories do you want to see next?